This podcast may contain views and opinions which are those of the hosts and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of any local agency, organization, union, employee, or company, including the podcast.
All right. Welcome back, everybody, to Off the Clock Shop Talk. My sleeves are down, so I'm going to go ahead and roll those up because we're off the clock. We're off the clock. And as promised, we have another special guest today. Savas, you're over there, but you should probably roll up your sleeves too because we're off the clock.
Well,
we're off the clock. You look
people are probably asking, why are we wearing this? We never wear this.
Well, you know, we were busy all day on the clock, and now we're off. So,
yeah.
Cheers to that. Even though dry show today, guys, but we appreciate you. We just got off work, didn't have time to go grab some beers, but we appreciate you guys tuning in. As always, we appreciate the likes, subscribes, all that. Shares are the most important to us.
Definitely share. We need the members to share between each other.
We appreciate you guys tuning in every week. You know, we try to get this out every week. I know we've missed a couple, but we appreciate you guys tuning in every week. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce our guest, Mark Davison. Right?
Nice.
I don't even know, to be honest, I don't know how to introduce you. You have so many titles.
Oh, geez. Your notepad right now.
All right. So start at the top.
Yeah, so let's start at the top. Let's get your titles first.
First of all, let me just say this. I'm just so happy and excited to be in Teamsters Local 952 and be on this podcast and be part of this younger generation of Teamsters that is, going to keep this union evolving and continuing to the next generation of Teamsters. So congratulations to Teamsters Local 952 for getting that done.
We appreciate you
I've gone out to a lot of the Local 952 shops. The members are excited about what's going on in Teamsters Local 952. I mean, you've had the general president at your local at least 4 or 5 times.
At least 4 or 5 times, yeah. And that's huge. It's something that we tried to express to the members. Honestly, I'm not sure that they grasped it, but I asked members how many times did you see Hoffa? And it's no knock on that administration, nothing, but it's where we are now. How far have we progressed? How the strength of 952, what Eric's been doing to kind of put us in a good position, right?
Look, the bottom line is this is the bottom line. You're fighting for the members.
Yeah.
You're representing the members. You're fighting for the members. You may not win every single battle, but you're winning the war. Yeah. And that is what is so cool. And so thank you for having me out here to Teamsters Local 952.
We appreciate you.
Yeah, appreciate you being on.
I love the logo of 952. It's got the orange on it.
Yeah.
Because I grew up in Orange County here. I went to Garden Grove High School.
Oh, nice.
I was an Argonaut.
Local.
Yeah, local.
I was on the swim team, the water polo team, and the varsity surfing team.
So you had a surfing team?
Surfing team?
Surf,
there?
varsity surf. Absolutely.
I know.
I have the Letterman jacket to prove it.
I didn't know that you guys had a surfing team. That's
I had
cool.
the Letterman jacket to prove it. So
where did you? Just a quick question. Where did you guys do your tournaments or games? How do you? I mean,
down
how would you
beach.
classify that?
Just down in
Huntington. Just
down at the beach.
Yeah.
We would do varsity trips to San Onofre.
Oh, nice.
You can camp on the beach.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
In San Onofre. And we would do surfing there. And of course, Huntington Beach, the cliffs of Huntington Beach, that was a big area for
you guys
having
do
surf
Newport? You guys do the wedge?
Everything. We did it all. We had a good time.
I like the wedge.
And I moved to Oregon about 32 years ago.
So what took you to Oregon?
So I got married. I moved to Oregon. My wife had family in Oregon.
Okay.
And I had a young family, and I wanted to go back to college. Okay. And the opportunity to go to college presented itself. And I was in college walking through the student union, they called it, where all the students go hang out and talk about things going on in the school. And there was a table that said full-time benefits, part-time work, and it had the UPS logo on it. And I come from a union family, and my grandfather, aunts and uncles, and it attracted me because I had a 1-year-old, and I'm like, I need a part-time job that provides full-time benefits.
Nice.
That's when I signed my Teamster card back in 1990.
That's when you entered the black hole, as I call it. Because, look, I mean, I think, honestly, I think we all kind of start the same. For me, I the same thing. I was like, oh, this is a college job. It's going to be part-time. No big deal. Yeah. Well, I go to college, and, college for me didn't pan out. I think, did you finish
Yes,
college?
I graduated.
Yeah, so I did not. I didn't finish. But, you know, it is what it is. I invested my time, and it was a good job, right? I mean,
Right.
So a little bit about yourself. Let's talk about, so you ended up in Portland, started working for UPS. What did you do there? How long were you there? All that.
I put myself through college working at UPS.
Nice.
I was almost immediately upon my hiring at UPS, made a shop steward. I immediately became involved in the union. I had a mentor who was very interested in cultivating young folks to get involved in the union so that we could pass on all this institutional knowledge. And after 6 years as a part-time preloader, I was never a full-time employee at UPS. I served my time as a steward. I was elected as a business agent in my local after 6 years. But I had a group of very knowledgeable and experienced business agents and officers who said, let's get the younger generation involved so we can pass the torch. They passed the torch to myself. They passed the torch to others that are in my local now. And we're working on passing the torch to that next generation.
And with that said, I mean, this is what Eric Jimenez has done in this local.
Thank you. Cool.
You know, he made this position, having a part-time BA, and I'm very humbled and truly blessed to have this position. It was never here in this local 952. We never had a part-time, well, not a part-time BA, but a BA for the part-time.
Correct. Yeah.
That was one of his campaign promises, that he would give the part-timers a voice. And for all the part-timers out there that are listening to this, I mean, you hear this story. Mark, you came from part-time and went straight into a business agent.
Yes.
And look, Mark, we don't, on the show, we try not to, quote unquote, talk shit. We're not here to bash other Teamsters or other administrations.
No.
That's not the goal.
We got to move forward.
But
we can't grow the organization if we don't move
I
forward.
will say that just to hear that, you know, you had an experienced administration team behind you as a part-timer and brought you in and wanted to pass that torch. It's something that I really feel like we were lacking here, you know, and we've talked about it on other shows where we were just, the part-timers weren't really included, you know. So Eric has done a great job of just adding Sawas as the business agent for the part-time, giving them a voice, really, just making sure that they're taken care of. And I know that, you know, Sean even has expressed his will to, or his goals to just really bring that part-time where they should be, right? And I get it. It's a part-time job, but at the end of the day, you know, they get full-time benefits, and Sean's working on getting them a better wage and all this stuff, right? So it's just refreshing to hear, honestly, that you
and we have a lot of work to do on
for
behalf
sure.
of the part-time employees. You know, we can have all these titles in this union, okay? I was elected international vice president on the Sean O'Brien and Fred Zuckerman slate, okay?
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. Okay. It's an honor. It's a blessing. It is just, I love my job. I want to kick ass for the working class, okay? All of that said, I can be the president of my local. I can be the president of my joint council. I can have all these titles serve on your health and welfare benefits, protect our benefits, serve on our pension fund as a trustee, do all these things. None of that matters without the members' involvement. None of it. They are,
Amen to that.
They are the wheel, you know, and every Teamster is part of the spokes in the wheel. We all have to do our part, and I'm just so blessed to be in the leadership position to do that. And I'm really proud of the fact that I was a part-timer. I came from the part-time ranks. I know what the part-timers go through. I was a preloader, okay? It doesn't get any more part-time.
Yeah, and I think that's I think the preload is a lot harder than than the Twilight.
I'm telling you what, I listened to a lot of Beastie Boys in the preload. So some people know that I like the Beastie Boys. Well, guess what?
If we didn't have to pay for the copyright, we'd probably have Beastie Boys.
Correct, exactly. In the morning in the preload, 2:30 in the morning, rocking it out to the Beastie Boys, loading trucks, making friendships, providing for my family, getting things done, and then ultimately being involved in the union. And that is what this is all about. We're not going to be able to accomplish all these great things if we don't get these people excited and get them involved and seriously involved, where it's not just a temporary involvement.
Yeah,
you know what?
honestly,
we don't need to rent a mob. We need a permanent mob. We need people that are just going to keep on coming out.
It's one thing that we started that's the reason we started the show.
Right.
And, you know, we want to get people involved. We preach, You are the union, right? We say that 1,000 times over. You are the union. We're not the union. I'm nobody without the membership.
Right.
At the end of the day, like, we're here for you guys. We appreciate you guys, and we really need to show our strength in numbers. I mean, that's what it comes down to. We have the power because we have the numbers, right? So just hearing you say that, and that's coming from, and obviously Mark is very humble about his titles, but from a joint council president, from, a president of a local, from a Western region vice president, like, I mean, you guys need to understand that even him just saying that, like, you guys are the power. We aren't anything without you guys.
There's nothing worse than when you go into bargain a contract and you don't have the members behind you.
Yep.
Because the employer's going to know, okay? They are going to know. And what does that mean? If they don't see that we're united, they're going to take advantage of any division within the union, okay? Within any union. I don't care if it's the Teamsters, whatever union out there. We have to stick together. Solidarity, right?
Solidarity.
And that's what we have to have. Can't get it done, can't get it across the finish line. We can craft proposals, which, of course, we've been actively working on putting together great proposals from all the feedback from the members.
Yep.
We've been actively engaging the membership through the surveys, our meetings, the gate activity. Look at the general president. He's at gates 3-4 days a week with Fred Zuckerman across the country, talking to UPSers. They're talking to members in freight. They're talking to members in grocery. They're talking to members, name it.
They are busy.
They are
Very busy.
They stay
So
busy.
we are doing everything we can to build the Army and organize the Army as organizers, right? Because every Teamster should be an organizer. Every time I face a challenge in the union, whether it's as a business agent or on a healthcare fund, how can I organize around an issue, get that issue resolved for the benefit of the members? It's all about organizing, but you got to have the member involvement. So
Just one thing real quick. I mean, it's something that I've mentioned on other shows, but we really do appreciate the transparency and the direction you're taking the West, right? Because obviously you're the chair of the West for the package division, correct?
yes.
So just the calls and the trying to keep us all informed and all on the same page is huge for me, is absolutely huge. And, I give this man a lot of props for just the direction he's taken things. It's something that in my first, let's say, year as a business agent, I didn't see, and it's something that I've given you props on the show for before. Like, I really appreciate the monthly calls and the West calls and going over cases for the West and all that stuff. It's just been great.
You always hear Sean tells a story about when the family's at the dinner table and they're airing their differences over the mashed potatoes, right, and the fried chicken, and they're sitting there at the dinner table and they're airing their differences. They got problems in the family, but you have to communicate with the family.
Yeah.
And that's what we're trying to do. I can speak, when you mention the Western region, communicate as a family, be inclusive with each other. We have folks that are very spirited and speak their mind.
Yeah, for sure.
And it doesn't hurt my feelings that they're speaking their mind. Okay? There's always something of value to come out of everything.
You got some thick skin, I'll tell you that.
I try. I try. I'm a human being, okay? I'm a human being.
I get it.
A union bean?
A union being?
Union bean?
Union being, okay. Exactly. And but we're doing the best we can in that area, and we won't always have the answer somebody wants. And there's one thing I always like to say is, we got to spitball. Yeah. Come on, let's spit. Let's see what we're going to get out of this game. Let's talk. Let's be open. When you spitball, you're saying, hey, what can we do here?
Together.
Yeah, brainstorming, right? The old school term, spitballing. So I want folks to spitball.
Yeah.
It's not personal. We've got to, get through the hard times to come out on the other end in better shape. And you're not going to get that if you sit in a room with 100 members or officers, whomever it may be, and you ask them. Sean always says, questions, comments, concerns, complaints. Mm-hmm. I said it a little different, a variance on that back in my time. I would always say, any problems, any this, any that.
Issues.
Any whatever.
Yeah.
And people will kind of just look at you, and then you say it again, and all of a sudden somebody's hand goes up and goes, okay, can I say something?
Hey,
and then they say it, and you're like, wow, you know what? I never thought of that.
Yeah.
You know what? That actually, we actually had our screening meeting for the Western contract because we're getting ready to go into bargaining on February 1st, right? with the company here in Southern California. We're kicking off the negotiations. We have 15 rank and file on our committee. We have 34 local unions for the Western Supplement negotiations. We had some feedback, and there was some feedback at our screening meetings. There was some issues. I'm like, wow, that hasn't come up before. But you know what? We better address that, because you're having that problem. It's going to come to the rest of us.
Yeah.
If it's happening in one local, it's going to spread. And so, but we have to encourage each other to be honest with each other.
Yeah.
And I think in any organization, I don't care whether it's a church, I don't care if it's the Teamsters, if it's the Elks Lodge, your women's committee for the ballerinas. My daughter was a ballerina, and my wife was on a women's committee where they organized all these great things for these children, right?
Yeah.
If people don't speak up and have valued input, then we're going to die.
And how are we going to grow and learn and progress if we're not all on the same page? And that's, like I said, it's one thing.
What do you got to say?
And so
What do you got to say about that?
I just wanted to back up a little bit and talk about, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is the first time in a long time that we've had our general president that's actually going to sit in negotiations.
Correct.
Right. And one of the things that I want to circle back to also is that you talked about how Sean, addresses the membership and the rank and file and the officers and asks, what do you have, any concerns? He did that here at our meeting on Saturday. And I think everybody was kind of taken back by that. I think a lot of people wanted to say something, but didn't expect Sean to actually
he
say.
opened it up for questions.
He opened it up for questions.
I mean, nobody expected. Everyone was like, he's going to take questions?
Yeah. Which is awesome.
And, there was and this is just from us, there was a couple members that didn't want to open their mouth during the actual meeting, and they wanted to say stuff afterwards. And, to me, it's like, look, if you have something to say, we're all on the same team at the end of the day.
Right.
We need to get to the point where we can discuss tough issues, and just like you said, and we can work through those issues like a family, right? Because at the end of the day, we're all on the same team. If God forbid, if we end up going on strike, and I got to stand next to that guy that's next to me, and it's something we've talked about in a lot of different, scenarios, right? But within the politics of the union, which I hate, it's like for me, it's like the worst part of the Teamsters. It's like, I don't like the politics because it separates us and whatnot. But at the end of the day, we really need to get on the same page, be on the same team, and rowing the same way as, the elected president of the union, as your, the same thing as your ST or your president or your BA. At the end of the day, they're elected, they're the leaders. We all need to be rowing in the same direction with some discussion and some working through problems and whatnot. So, there's a lot that goes into it.
Can't be afraid to confront people's ideas.
Yeah.
If you are, then you should not be in this business.
1,000%. You definitely have to have some thick skin,
say
like I said.
I shouldn't. If you're not getting the feedback from the individuals that make this organization powerful, which is the folks who have the power to withhold their labor, because guess what? Unions were not created, okay? Unions were not created because employers like us.
1,000%.
Unions were created from the power of workers to withhold their labor. If that did not exist when we were started, and if that was not the key to collective bargaining, right? Now, sure, there's employers out there that are they have no problem dealing with a union. They're making good profits. They're taking care of their workers. Yeah. I have some shops I deal with in my own backyard where the owners take pride in the fact that they're a union shop. They get union jobs in construction.
UPS used to,
they take care of the workers. You might have 100 truckers at a construction company. Maybe they have one or two grievances a year, and it's really something bad, but most of the employers that created unions were because we had to fight for our rights.
You gotta fight!
The Beastie Boys say, fight for your right to party. We had to fight for our right to collectively bargain.
That's right.
Okay? We had to fight for those rights, and it's because the power to withhold our labor. Now, you go into bargaining saying you want to strike an employer? No, but you better be ready for one, because if they want one, and we are An organization that's bottom up, which is the rank and file, determines the future of this organization. We have to be ready, and that is our ultimate power to withhold our labor. That's not what we're going to bargaining for.
No.
We want to get a great contract.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
People at UPS have worked hard, all Teamsters, essential workers during the pandemic, but they're essential workers, especially in this e-commerce society we have today. It's just amazing you see what people have delivered to their homes now. You know? They don't want to go down to
A
the
full kitchen table. I was delivering
Yeah.
it, believe me.
They don't want to go down to the local Kroger and get the dog food. They want to order it online from Puffy's Dog Pound.
And just so
food
you guys
service.
know, the people ordering dog food, fuck, I used to hate delivering dog food because, right, it's in a box. They put it in a box, and it's a bag of dog food.
So it's shifting
and
around
it's
the whole
shifting around,
time.
and you're just like, fucking.
Yeah,
I
so
used to hate delivering dog food, but hey,
There's a route on my.
we'll deliver it if you
I have
order
two.
it. We'll deliver it.
I have two. So I have a German Shepherd. Her name is Farah, and I have two route drivers. My primary route driver for my neighborhood, for my home, his name's Dustin Hansen.
Shout out to
Shout out to
Dustin.
Dustin.
And Dustin is brings the dog food.
Nice.
And then the news
he ever
driver who's
get
flexed
pissed?
in, because you know how UPS is you know how UPS is adjusting routes with their computer system every
course,
5 minutes.
yeah.
So the driver's route's never the same like it used to be every day,
Yeah.
where you had more consistency in your route because technology has has changed drivers' routes. I get Connor Gormley is the other driver who delivers. To my house, the dog food.
So you don't have a steady route driver. That's
I
always
do,
on your,
but the computer decides if they're coming to my house or not.
I'm kind of upset.
Are you like in between a split? Is that what it is?
I
My
don't know.
neighborhood
No.
must
I don't
be a
know.
split because I never have the same driver. And I always go out and bring whoever's there water. One of the drivers is actually the son of one of the stewards from Anaheim, but he
Oh, okay.
delivers out in Corona where I live, right? His son delivers out there. So I met him. That was one of the drivers, but my area's never has the same driver. I had the same driver when I first moved in. I've been there 8 years. For about a year, I had the same driver, and then I don't know. It just must be like a off this, just kind of an off area, and they
Right.
just kind of split it up
Yeah.
all the time.
I don't know how my dog knows the difference between Dustin and Connor.
He can
but
smell them.
Dustin leaves dog biscuits on the box.
There you go. That must
Connor,
be the
you need to
difference.
have some dog biscuits on the box.
Connor
and she'll
smells
know
different.
Who you are. But he just became a steward too. He's helping us out big time in our local. Another
Nice.
youngster getting involved
Nice.
in the union. So.
Nice.
Nice. And how big is your local?
5,500 members, and we are a general trucking, warehousing, manufacturing local.
Okay.
We represent folks at Coca-Cola, Pepsi.
We have Coke and Pepsi as well.
We're similar to Local 952.
Okay.
Truckers, warehouse, grocery,
Nice.
manufacturing.
Yeah.
We represent a company that actually makes a lot of parts for Tesla and Ford and
Really?
aerospace. It's amazing. There is actually a lot of manufacturing still in the United States.
Yeah.
Not what it once was.
I mean, we need to bring it back, but yeah.
Oh, absolutely. We need to bring it back. There are we had a lot of companies that we had under contract that moved out.
Yeah.
many, many
Politicians,
years
I
ago.
don't care who you are. We need to bring manufacturing back.
Well, workers are what fuels the economy.
Yeah.
I mean,
1000%.
The corporate America provides jobs, but they can't get their product either delivered, manufactured, whatever it is they have to do, without having workers. Without having labor.
And we want
involved.
those workers to be Teamsters.
Correct. But to your point, so my local union is based in Portland, Oregon. 5,500 members, general trucking, warehousing, you name it. Basically, essentially, if it was delivered somewhere in the Portland area, a local 162 member had their hands on it,
Nice.
getting it to its final destination.
Awesome. Let's complete your title list. I guess we were
no.
going over that first, right? So,
Wow. Okay.
President of Joint Council
37.
37. Okay, so recently elected President of Joint Council 37.
Yes. So a
correct?
longtime president of the Joint Council retired, and there was an opening, and I was unanimously elected by the executive board
Awesome.
to fill his term out.
Awesome. And then Western Region Vice President for the IBT, not Secretary Treasurer, you're the President, correct?
President of the local.
So I know in our local, right, Secretary Treasurer is the top position. Are
Yes.
you the top position as President?
We have a secretary treasurer.
Okay.
Yes.
Western Region Package Division Director.
Correct.
I thought I'd get that right. All right. So Western Region Package Division Director, obviously covering all the UPS negotiations. Let's get into that. What can you talk about that we can go over as far as contract stuff?
The bottom line is we have had the largest campaign ever dealing with UPS for rank and file engagement, getting out the word. What do you want in the contract, right?
Yeah.
What are your demands? What are your requests? The old school Teamsters call them demands, right? These are our demands. The new school Teamsters, it's proposals.
Proposals,
right?
yeah.
But we had our demands meeting in Portland, and we got our members' input. But we also, of course, through the experience over the course of this last contract, from administering this last contract, the current contract that's going to expire on August 31st or August 1st of 2023,
Correct.
the business agents have had a lot of experience with all of the issues that we need to address in the contract negotiations.
Yeah.
And I don't care which contract it was, regardless of what was put into the contract, there's always something, one or two or three things that UPS comes up with during the term of a contract that has us ready for the next contract.
Yeah.
It never fails. There's always two or three items at least. This time, we have at least a half dozen major issues that we have to address.
Yeah.
Actually, there's probably close to a dozen when you factor 4 large contingencies of employees at UPS. And you just go for these 3 of the major issues in 3 of the categories: part-time, full-time inside, package car, feeder drivers. I call it the dirty dozen. There's 3 major issues in all 4 of those categories. So we are gearing up. We've done everything that you should be doing, getting out the surveys. They created the Teamster app. They expanded. They killed the old app and did a totally new, improved app. When you actually open up the Teamster phone app, you can actually download the contract in 5 seconds.
It's been great.
It used to take like 5 minutes for each article when you look it up. You don't have to hand out the old books, even though people that still love books can get a book. But we are doing everything. We've had all of our meetings of all of our committees across the United States. The National Negotiating Committee has screened proposals and prepared proposals. The Western Supplement, we are ready to go. We're kicking off on February 1st here in Southern California, the Western Supplement. Now, in the West, in the Western region for the package division, there are 6 riders. There's Alaska has their own rider. Hawaii has their own rider. The Northwest has their own rider. The Southwest has their own rider. Then there's the NorCal supplement. And then there's some addendums, automotive here in Southern California.
Real quick clarification. So
Joint Council 3
the Northwest
has an addendum.
And NorCal have separate supplements.
Yes. So what you have is you have Joint Council 3, which has a rider. Joint Council 28 in Washington has a rider. Joint Council 37 in Oregon has a rider. The Southwest has a rider. Hawaii, Alaska, there's some addendums, and then the NorCal supplement.
Okay.
And then there's the Western supplement, which is additional issues. Most of the things where the rubber's going to hit the road for for the members on a day-to-day basis, I call it all the goodies in the Teamster contract. You know, your vacation, your wage rate, all of that stuff is in your riders.
Well, there's some good language in the West too.
Yes, and we have a lot.
Workday, work week, Article 20, Section 2. I think that's going to need some clarification, but
yes,
obviously
correct.
It's a big one. It's one of the big ones, right?
Correct.
All right. Well, we went over your title and what's going on, what's next.
You didn't get them all, but that's okay.
What did I miss?
Yeah, tell us what we missed.
Yeah, what did I miss?
I'm going to tell you one of the coolest parts, one of the coolest roles that I have in the union that I really thoroughly enjoy, and you learn a lot about it, is on the health and welfare funds for our members' health care.
That's right, yeah.
Active and for your retirement. For the state of Oregon, I'm on the Oregon Teamster Employers Trust. We have 26,000 Teamsters and their family members on that plan. 300 employers.
Wow.
We have an active plan for the members when they're working. We also have insurance for the members when they retire. And you really get to learn a lot. And if people could actually see some of the things, I mean, the atrocious costs of specialty drugs, or as soon as you think you fixed an issue on a specific pharmaceutical company you're dealing with, or some loophole over a generic or whatever it is, they come up with something new. another way to try to get money out of trust funds from these pharmaceutical companies. So that's pretty interesting. I also serve as a trustee on the Teamsters Western Region Local 177 plan, which Local 952 members are covered under.
Yeah.
And
It's you guys.
Correct. And so between those two funds, I sit on those for over 80,000 Teamsters and their families in the West. Nice. That is one I really enjoy doing that. Of course, the most fun I have is just being a Teamster and going down to the buildings. Now, some of the business agents in my office don't like it when I go down to the buildings. I stir up the pot and I come back with 20 grievances. Look, of course, I'm kidding. It doesn't matter. I mean, you're a Teamster. You're going to go down and talk to people. They're going to have issues. And so I'm like the grievance collection.
Well, honestly,
person.
I mean,
I love that part of the
myself
job.
As a business agent, right, in my normal capacity, obviously we're not operating in that right now, but I do appreciate the support. And I know, I'm sure your business agents appreciate you coming down to the buildings and showing, management that we're all on the same page. We're all on the same team. And if the rubber meets the road, or where the rubber meets the road, there's Mark right behind him. You know what I mean? Right. So I'm sure they appreciate it.
But I really enjoy dealing with the trust funds because it's not missed by the members, especially the members that have been around a long time or they have major health issues. But I have had a lot of members who for years are not engaged in the union at all.
Yeah.
And they'll call and they'll say, hey, I just want to say, and it'll be a member who I haven't talked to. They come into work, they keep their head down, they go do their job. 15 years later, they call and they go, I just want to let you know, I just went through this COVID in the hospital and my bill was over $1 million.
Wow.
And I paid my $100 deductible and that was it.
Wow.
Jeez.
On the Oregon plan. Teamsters Western Region plan is a little bit different. Every plan has little variations on their copays or whatever, but I've never been involved in the union. I just wanted to call and say thank you. My bills were paid.
Wow.
And you think about it.
Yeah.
We have a lot of people can take those things as granted until they get sick and they need them.
And I have my own personal story. I had twins 7 years ago, right? And they were born in October. Obviously, they turned 7 in 22. But they were both preemies. Crazy story. So they were both preemies, born, I think, 7 weeks early. Both had to go to the NICU. Spent, 2 weeks in the NICU. And what was really crazy is that, we had them here in Anaheim, near the local, and they didn't have room in the NICU. So they had to transfer them. So they ordered them both their own separate ambulance because they had to transfer both of them. We were there because, my wife at the time had a C-section. So she had to stay there. So we had to stay in Anaheim. They transferred both of them to Riverside, to Kaiser. And, when we got the bill, it was, over $500,000. I mean, it was like about 250, a little over each. Like I said, they spent 2 weeks in the NICU, and I didn't pay a dime.
Wow.
I paid my deductible. And
Proud to be a Teamster, huh?
Thank you, Teamsters.
Yeah. Well, and you bring, look, when we go into bargaining for this new contract, we have to talk about the part-time wages need to go up.
Yeah.
We need to have catch-up raises for the long-time part-timers. Yes. We need to get more full-time inside jobs, right?
Yeah.
Feeder drivers, we have to stop the rampant subcontracting.
Yeah.
Right?
Crazy.
I mean, we have issues in every job category at UPS that we need to address, right? But health insurance and the pension, right? Those two benefits right there out of the gate are so big for the Teamsters and for our members.
1,000%.
We've got to go. We have to protect all of those, and we are going to protect all of our benefit plans, and we're going to make them stronger. I can remember when the Teamsters Western Region Local 177 healthcare plan was created in bargaining, and there were a lot of folks who said, oh, this thing will never get off the ground. This thing's never going to succeed. It now has started from scratch, and it has almost $4 billion in reserves now. Wow. And it's providing benefits for 80,000 Teamsters and their families. That's awesome. And so when somebody goes to the hospital and they have $1 million COVID bill or a $5,000 ankle injury, they're not going bankrupt because they don't have a $3,000 or $4,000. You look at, you talk to family. You go to a Teamster. If you go to a family barbecue, the Teamster at the barbecues usually got the best benefits, even if there's a senator there.
Absolutely.
If you go, I don't have any family members that are senators, right? But you can go to. I always tell members your benefits. especially the Teamsters Western Region Plan. Their benefits are better than the U.S. Congress.
I have.
You don't have to worry about it, but a lot
Dentists,
of people.
I think dentists are like the most vocal about it for me.
Yeah.
But every time I go to a dentist, and we've switched throughout the years. I started when I was 18 at UPS, so I've been a Teamster for 20 years, a little over 20 years. And every time we change, they're, oh my gosh, you have great benefits.
Yeah. They know the check's going to show up.
Yeah, they're like,
there's no argument.
Great benefits.
Absolutely.
Well, here's the one of the fantastic things about Taft-Hartley trust funds, which is what these are. Okay, Taft-Hartley trusts, health and welfare trust funds, jointly trusteed by employers and unions, right? And you have these funds will have, like I said, the Oregon Fund, 300 employers. The Teamsters sit on the fund and have a say on what the benefits will be. And then, like I said, one of the biggest things that pops up is every single year when you're renewing all of these plans and reviewing vendors and looking at the medical providers, we have to look at all those little loopholes. You signed a contract, you vote on a contract, you're so happy to have a contract, your bills are paid and all this. Meanwhile, every year, every quarterly meeting, no matter what trust fund it is, you're hearing from consultants and attorneys and everybody who's got all these things that are changing in the law that we have to protect. Yeah. And so when Sean O'Brien talks about protecting, preserving, and improving, it's not just going to the union meeting and voting yes on a contract where you're going to get $1 an hour raise on your wage, or you're going to get another week of vacation, or improvements in your grievance procedure and all that, right? Yeah. Those benefit plans, they have an entire life of their own.
Yeah.
It's a big deal.
It's one thing that we talk to the part-timers especially about, right? Because, look, at the end of the day, I definitely know they need more, a better wage for working, right? But we try to explain to them, I know you might not go to the doctor a lot right now. You're young, you're 20 years old. You might not have kids. You might not have
They're
a family
still on their
yet.
parents'
insurance. Right. So they're just kind of oblivious to the benefits they have on the back end and the pension that they're building, the medical, all that stuff. And I'm like, dude, you have to understand, like, you're getting a lot being a Teamster, and it's one thing that, we've been stressing here in our local in 952 is just changing that culture, you know what I mean? To where we were kind of uninformed or whatever, at least that's how I felt. But we're trying to inform members and making sure that they understand what's going on. If you got a doctor bill, I mean, there's people that don't know that they can get help, when they need help. Like we've had members that have substance abuse issues or whatever, and they have no idea. And I'm like, dude, and then we're also part of the Western Legal Trust Fund, right, or whatever. Right. So we have that, and there's so many. That's actually the show that we went over last week. But there's so many benefits that they're provided on the back end. They just don't even see them.
Well, we've got to go into bargaining and protect.
Yeah.
Separate from what I call the dirty dozen, all those issues by job classification that we have to address, plus all the big picture things, our grievance procedure, the big issues, the big picture issues as well. We've got to protect those benefits.
Yeah.
And so we're not taking that as granted. We're going to make sure we fight to protect the benefits. We're going to make sure we fight to protect people's pensions. I mean, look at these young Teamsters coming in right now with the accrual rate, with the negotiated hourly increases into the Western pension that a lot of Teamsters are enjoying and a lot of employers. We're going to have Teamsters retiring with $100,000 a year pensions for reals.
If you guys,
that's not a joke.
If you guys aren't excited to hear this and to hear, I'm excited for the fight. Look, it's going to be a fight. It's going to be a knockdown, drag out. But at the end of the day, if you guys aren't excited to hear that there's people out here fighting for you, for your benefits, for all these things. And we need your support, right? We tell the members every week, every time we see them, you guys are the union. We need your backing. We're all elected officials or whatever you want to call it, right? So we need your support to fight for you, because at the end of the day, that's what we're out here doing. That's why we took this job. That's why I took this job, right? I mean, I love representing the members and making sure that they're taken care of. And I'm sure that's why you definitely don't get into this line of work without, thinking of others.
Being a leader in the Teamsters is what Sean calls it's a full contact sport.
Yeah.
If you think you're going to come into
Buckle
this
that chain
job
strap.
and you're going to say you're going on a vacation and you're not taking the member's phone call when they call
what's
you.
a vacation?
Well, look, you know what?
What is that?
I know a lot of my loyalists that I've always dealt with over the years. When I really needed a vacation, I'd say, I'm really taking this vacation. I've got somebody backing me up, but if you really need me, I got your back. And people would respect that too. But this is a 365-day-a-year lifestyle. Yeah. Being a union officer is not a job. It is not a 9-to-5 job. It is not. People don't call us because they're happy.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, that's very far.
They don't call us because they're happy. They're calling us because they have an issue, or it could be just a super simple thing. Hey, you're giving out college scholarships to the children, Teamster children this year. Can I get a list of the various scholarships? I need whatever it may be. But normally, when people are calling, it's because they got a problem with the boss. And so this is if somebody believes this is a job, there's the door. Get out. Because this is a lifestyle.
I agree. 1,000%.
You know what I was thinking about that fight, right? With I realized my ex-wife knew how good the benefits were. She fought me tooth and nail to keep some of my pension and wanted the health benefits. So believe me,
Why'd you invite her to the pension meeting?
right? Exactly. Right.
Who did that? The administrator educated the. Okay.
I don't know, but I think it's just funny when we talk about that because she definitely knew what she was going to lose when we went through that divorce to have that health care. And all joking aside, I mean, I have the same story like John. I had twins, and they were both had major surgeries, and they were in the hospital for a long, long time. And you know what? I paid that $100 copay, and that's what it was.
It's crazy. Well, let's switch gears a little bit.
Okay.
We are off the clock, so let's talk a little bit more about Mark. What do you like to do outside of work? I mean, believe me, like you said, it's a lifestyle, and we don't get a lot of time off. But what do you do? What do you enjoy outside of work?
I do a lot. I have a lot of interests. I've got a vinyl record collection.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
So my brother was a DJ down here. He passed, but he was a DJ in Orange County, and he had a large record collection. So I will fire up the records and sit in my backyard and try to get lost in my thoughts and just relax. I also that's just kind of it's a fun thing, That's when I listen to the Beastie Boys, Grandmaster Flash, and I know somebody's going to probably say, "Oh no, Madonna." Okay, the Flock of Seagulls, U2.
Oh, you had the hair, the Flock of Seagulls,
Spandau Ballet. Okay, In Excess, right?
You're aging yourself.
Okay, it's good. It's good. David Bowie, but Beastie Boys always seems to be one of my go-tos, right?
There you go.
But I'm into woodworking, furniture making.
Wow. Really?
Wow.
Yes.
Cool.
When I have time for that, I haven't had the time I used to have for
now,
that.
is it the old school furniture making, or are you into new
mortise and
tools?
tenon joints? I can do
There you
all
go.
that fun stuff.
That's awesome.
Dovetails.
Yeah.
So I enjoy doing that. That's fun.
So we were talking about your vinyl collection, Madonna.
Borderline. Feels
start
like I'm
after your vinyl
going
collection.
to lose my mind. You just keep on pushing my love over the borderline.
Hearing that on vinyl probably sounds pretty good. What kind of record player do you have?
U-Turn Audio.
Really?
It's out of, they're made in Boston.
Okay.
Actually, a town just out, I don't want to misspeak. I want to say it's either Chelmsford. It's a suburb of Boston.
Okay.
U-Turn
Always had
Audio.
techniques.
Yeah, those were the gold standard.
Yeah, back in the day. Yeah. For
Yeah, and you can buy them for $100. You can buy them for $4,000. Techniques. Anyway.
After the vinyl collection. So what else are you into? Basically, that's where we're at.
One of the things I like to do is I'm kind of an old soul, and I like old stuff.
Okay.
I love that show, American Pickers. They go out to the barn.
Oh, you
You
kind
like
of Mark.
antiquing. So you like antiquing.
My Aunt Kathy is an old soul too,
Uh-huh.
and she calls it junking.
Junking.
Junking. So I like to go junking.
All right.
And I was out junking, and I came across a original Teamster seal. You know, the seals, they weigh like 15, 20 pounds. They're solid brass.
Yes, I've
and you
seen
put a piece
one
of
those
paper
on eBay.
and you squeeze that down, and it has the seal of the union. And I found Teamsters Local 896, which is a brewery workers union here in California.
I think you've told me this story. That's freaking
Anyway,
cool.
and I came across their original seal. So like in my local, we have the original seal from 1903 because that's when our local was chartered. We were one of the original 15 or 18 or locals in the United States that were chartered as IBT locals. And I came across this. So somebody obviously had it, ended up in an estate, ended up out there in the general population, and I purchased it, and then I donated it to Local 896, which was pretty cool. This just happened in the last few months. And
you don't have to tell me how much, but was it expensive?
No.
That's
no, it was a good
freaking
deal.
cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Just a rare find, right?
Well, you know, somebody probably saw that and was like, this isn't anything,
Yeah.
you know.
What are these horses? They said. Like when we were in Florida.
Oh, yeah,
we were in Florida at Sean's dinner over there. We were walking around with our jackets on, and people were looking at us, and they're like, "What do you guys do? You guys work with horses, or what's going
they asked
on?"
us, do you work with horses? Are you equestrian? Yeah. We were like, no.
You know, and we got to change that. That's one of the things that Sean is really committed to is getting our brand back out there to folks. You know, we are one of the most powerful unions in the history of trade unions.
Yeah.
And in every organization's timeline, there's ups, there's downs, there's incredible heights, there's some lows, right?
Yeah.
But we want to get back to being the preeminent union in the world. And you know, the funny thing is, well, it's not funny, it's dead serious, is when you go talk to somebody who's super proud, and I come across people who are in the IBEW, the plumbers, you come across folks, teachers that are in their union, they're really proud of their union. I get on an airplane and you see the flight attendants. They have Sarah Nelson, who's been really active in the flight attendants union, organizing. She's the head of the flight attendants union, right? Sean O'Brien, our general president, has made a good partnership with her. They've shown up to some rallies and spoke. Whenever I go to a barbecue or you talk to people, and I'll come across people who say, oh, my mom was in the Teamsters union. And then you start talking to them, and you find out that she was a teacher, and she was in a different union. No knock on the other unions. But when you come across people lots of times in my lifetime that get super excited about unions, and you ask more questions, more often than not, because we have always been one of the largest unions. We're in every zip code in America. They'll say the Teamsters union.
That's cool.
I've gotten some free drinks on the plane.
Yeah.
And they see
From the
that.
steward, and they're like,
But,
"Oh,
you know,
you're a
I mean,
Teamster."
and this is just my humble
Yeah.
opinion, but I think we have the right team to do that. You know, we definitely have some people that are passionate, right? I love to see that back because I'm passionate. I'm passionate about it, and you know, I tell even my members, you know, I have Teamster Tuesdays, right, and we have meetings, and I tell them like, act like you give a shit. And this is just me talking to my members, right? I'm just like, act like you give a shit. At the end of the day, you know, if God forbid, like I said, if we ever go on strike, I'm going to be out there and I'm going to be fucking fighting because for me, I could end up back on the truck at any time for whatever reason, you know, whatever reason it would be, I could end up right back on the truck. And this is my contract. You know, I'm very passionate about being a Teamster and, you know, being just active and making sure people that are involved and whatnot. So I love the direction.
Look at
That's
this.
all I'm saying.
Look at this. We have an outsized influence on the economic conditions in the United States.
1,000%.
We might be a small percentage of the overall workers in America, but we make up the largest chunk of what keeps America
Essential
together.
workers, as they say.
Well, just the simple fact. I mean, the rising tide lifts all boats, right?
Yep.
And employers are not signatory to a contract with the union, right? They have to stay up with us too, because to a certain extent, now a lot of employers, none that don't have a representative workforce, they're not Teamsters or any other union. They might pay a wage that's a little closer. Maybe it's a little less, but it's enough to keep folks from unionizing. But they sure as heck are not providing the pensions we have, right? And
the
so
benefits.
we have an outsized influence on society. You do see the recent polls that talk about the exact numbers. It's at least over 65% of folks said if they had the right to form a union without interference from the boss, they would do it, right? If they're allowed to have a free decision to do it. But the greatest thing about our union, and you don't go to work in a corporation and decide who the boss is going to be.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
If you've got a department in the company that you work for and it's completely failing and the management is doing a horrible job and they're destroying a segment of a company, the workers aren't going to say, well, we need to get new leadership, right? In the Teamsters, you can do that.
Yeah.
Things aren't going in the right direction. What better thing could be about being a Teamster? We are free, democratic trade union. And I will hold myself up to any CEO, anybody else, any leader in any day of the week, because I'm on the chopping block if I'm not delivering for my members.
Yeah.
Now, I'm doing my job. I'm going to keep on doing my job. I'm going to give the passion.
You're doing a
every
good
day.
job, by the way.
I'm going to do the passion and come to work with the passion and the fight that I've always had, and going to keep that going. Someday I'll retire. Who knows? We'll find out.
Yeah, we'll see.
When that day comes.
Hopefully not anytime
But
soon.
I will. But I will be have the same energy and the same. So I'm so excited to be a Teamster, and I think we're going to really get a great contract at UPS. It's not going to be easy. We're going to have the membership's backing. We all need to get together, back up Sean, back up Fred, back up your local leadership. I don't care which local union you're in. I don't care whether you like your coworkers, you don't like a shop steward, you don't like a business agent, you don't like your boss. Put all that aside, okay? Put all of that aside. Get to your union meetings. Get out there to the campaign rallies. Do anything and everything you can to support the efforts, and we're gonna get a good contract because we set the standard.
Absolutely.
And for my 952 guys, I will tell you, look, if you're in the Laguna building, and I know we've talked about this, show up to the meetings. We have meetings every Tuesday, Teamster Tuesdays, right? And we have a good group of guys. I got about 60 to 70
Is that something
drivers.
that you established? Did you establish this Teamster Tuesday?
Yeah, believe it or not, and I'll give credit where credit's due. I was talking to Victor Mineros, if you guys don't know who I'm referring to. He had said that, something they did in 396 was Teamster Thursdays. But he said, you could do it any day. Just figure it out, start some meetings.
Right.
Believe it or not, for me, it started with the parking lot rallies that we had back in the summer. Back in the summer for the campaign, the contract campaign kickoff, right? They wanted us to do a big parking lot rally. For me, I got excited about it because like I said, I'm pretty passionate about the union. I'm pretty passionate about people getting involved. So that kind of started it for me. And I had talked to Victor and I was like, there wasn't a lot of people there, blah, blah, blah. So, and I've told the story before, but I started in the parking lot and I the next Tuesday I said, hey, I want to have a meeting every week with drivers. So I started in the parking lot, and the first week I had passed out a bunch of flyers and I was like, I'm going to get a bunch of people here. It's going to be fucking great. Right. And I got like 20 people showed up and I was
It's awesome though.
I was kind of bummed out. Right.
It's a start.
Just to me, I was like, I'm bummed out. I said, I yelled at all those 20 people. I said, where the fuck is everybody at? Right. Where's everybody at? And I'm just, that's just me. I'm passionate, like I said. And, I had a couple people like, oh, what are you fucking cussing at everybody for, right? But I'm like, where the fuck is everybody, dude? Like, I have, 300 plus drivers here that I represent at the time. And I'm like, where's everybody at? So I said, let's go inside. So we marched inside. We all went inside, and, it's grown from there. And like I said, every week I have about 60 to 70 drivers-ish. And granted, there's some that I definitely want more, and we're going to build on what we've been building on. But, like, just getting those people involved, like, that shit is important to me.
Right.
It really is. It's huge. And like I said, Victor was, very instrumental in that, kind of coaching me along. And even Lindsay was like, hey, don't worry. These people are going to come. You just keep doing what you're doing, and they're going to come.
Right.
And I've been encouraged to see the growth for sure.
One member at a time.
One member at a time.
I would have been happy with one member there, right?
Yeah.
You start off with one member.
Whether the advice I always give members that get active in the union or members, shop stewards, people, activists, I try to always tell people, give them the advice. Don't be the raging river. Spring, the water's high. In the summer, the water's low. Be that steady river that people can count on. And so by doing that every Tuesday, and you just continue to be the steady river, over time you'll build an army.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that army has to go into the battle for trade unionism.
Yep.
That's right.
Whether people understand it or not. And some people it takes getting fired by an employer. Some people.
I wanted to fire John off the show like 10 times already.
Some people it takes.
We fired Savas a couple times.
Some
that's
people
why.
it takes the boss mistreating them, favoritism.
Yeah.
Some people have never had a problem of any sort, and all of a sudden they get upset because their paycheck was short.
Yep.
And then because they haven't really been too active, they start talking to everybody and find out, well, geez, this is a big problem. And next thing you know, that's the spark that gets them involved, right?
Yeah.
Or it's a medical emergency and they find out the benefits.
Yep.
Or it's a coworker dies on the job. And dies on the job.
Mm-hmm. We've seen that happen.
Correct. And I've had folks come to me from a soft drink company where a member died on the job. And coworkers, all these young warehouse workers on the forklifts, pickers, they all have different names, pickers, just a variety of names that people call warehouse jobs, come forward and go, wow, I didn't realize that if I passed away, there was a child survival benefit in the pension. And he was only working here 6 years, and his child's getting a check for X number of years till they're 18 years old. And then all of a sudden, that person shows up to the union meeting.
Yep.
Because, so just be the steady river, be that continuum, just provide. And so by doing what you're talking about, it's a simple gesture of getting people involved. And now they go, well, you know what? He's out there on Tuesday. I think I've got a grievance I want to talk to him about.
And it's funny when I'm in panel now, I appreciate it, guys, just so you guys know. But, when I'm in panel now or when we're traveling or whatever, we're in negotiations or whatever, I'll get calls on Tuesday. Hey, are you going to be here? No, I'm not there this Tuesday. I got panel, but I'll be there, and I always post it in the union board. So if you guys are curious, but it's just, it is encouraging, right? They expect that now. And I'm like, yeah, I'll as soon as I'm back, I'll be there. Don't worry.
Right.
And that's why we do the show. This is why we do the show, because there's people that can come to the meetings.
Yeah.
That don't show up, before start time. And we're going to continue to do this. I got to tell you, Mark, I truly appreciate from all of us you being here on the show. I mean, this is a big thing for all of us just to have you here and talk about.
So is John normally the person who talks about all the serious things, and then you're the lighthearted, you mix it up into
he's the comic relief.
He's supposed to be
you're
the
the comic relief,
He's
huh?
supposed to be the comic relief.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. I kind of got that.
He gets a little upset
that feeling.
sometimes.
I've been on strike.
He went on
One of the
strike while we were
episodes.
on the show. He held up a sign.
He brought a picket
I was
sign
right.
and everything.
Really?
Yeah.
He wouldn't talk.
Yeah.
He held up a picket sign.
Yeah. I was just like,
He was
these
on
guys are not
strike.
paying me nothing. Why am I doing this? No. But this is, going back, we're trying to connect with the membership in a different way. All the younger generation now, what do? Everything's text message, everything's online.
Yeah.
And this is why we started the show, to reach out, in a different format. And we're going to continue to do this. And, hopefully we're going to bring on different members from different barns, different industries. I mean, to have you here, Mark, I'm just very truly appreciative of that.
Very. And I mean, that's like I said, that is one thing. Well, like Saba said, that is one thing that we're trying to do is not make this not just a UPS show. It really isn't. This is a union show. This is a 952 show. It's not just a 952
No,
show.
the entire.
This is a Teamster show.
So the entire Teamsters union, if you go back to the beginning of the Teamsters union with team drivers, stable workers, right? The folks that were taking care of the horses in the stables.
So we did work with horses.
Correct. Right? Didn't the Teamster logo at one point said stableman instead of warehouse? So the entire union was formed off of small shops. All of these small shops of 5 or 6 Teamsters. So just as an example, here in Los Angeles or Orange County or Portland, Oregon or Seattle, Washington, in the West Coast Teamster history, when you go back and look at it, it was all of these small shops, and all of these small shops would sign on to one contract, and the contract would be called the drayage contract or the coal contract. So all the coal haulers would be in the coal contract, and they were all small to come together to create this large organization that we call the International Brotherhood of Teamsters. Now, of course, we've become a union of a lot larger corporations. We still have a lot of small shops, but we are a union of very, very large companies that we represent the workers at.
Yeah. What about the Paint the Houses union, Teamsters union?
Paint the houses?
Oh, never mind. That's the Irishman. I'm getting to the...
Sabas, don't go there. Don't you do that. I counseled you and told you, please, don't get into that type of talk.
Right.
That's awesome. But like I said, we really want to make this more of a Teamster show. We've had representatives from grocery, from CVS and Albertsons, and we're definitely, we want to expand, and that's why we're super appreciative that you came on. You kind of bring a different perspective, being from another local, being from another state, right, and kind of giving us that bird's eye view.
But we all share the common bond. Collectively bargaining to improve our members' lives.
Yep.
So they can use their collective power with the boss, not collective begging.
Yeah.
They don't go in and beg for a raise. They bargain for a raise.
Yep.
They go in and bargain for improvements to their working conditions. And I don't care what anybody says when they talk about the old days are gone. No, I'm sorry. If folks are working with their hands and working in factories, the safety and health issues
are always there.
Yeah. And we haven't finished our job there. Where else can you be part of this organization? And you meant, like you said, you mentioned UPS, right? Because people talk about UPS because there's 300,000 Teamsters at UPS. The union is everybody together. And I go to small shops and talk to folks, and they are just as proud. They may not have the same issues that a UPS has. And for many of them, that's what they want. They don't want to work at a larger corporation. They want to work at a place that has 40 workers. The Teamsters in the West Coast made our name for ourselves, particularly in the brewing industry, and that's where they put the first Teamsters in the West Coast, in the Western Conference.
Get back into the brewery industry because I like beer.
Correct. There are.
It'd be nice to have a good sponsor.
Yeah. Breweries out there, if you feel like sponsoring the show, just saying.
If you feel like sponsoring the show.
There's a Budweiser brewery here in Southern California. It's Teamsters.
Yeah.
It's in Irwindale. Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And Teamsters Local 896.
There's obviously a lot to chew on here in this episode, but we'd like to turn it over to Mark once again and just kind of close us out with, I guess, the direction. Where are we going? What's the direction, I guess, for the contract, for the UPS, and just close us out.
So is this like the part of the show where Elvis is leaving the building?
Yeah, Elvis is shaking his hair. He's leaving the building.
Nice. Well,
and I got to say, you got a nice head of hair there, Mark, for sure.
Yeah.
It's called the flow.
It has a name, the flow.
I didn't give it that name, but somebody else has said nice flow.
I was going to say Silver Fox, but okay.
Whoa, Sabas.
That's a whole different meaning.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I don't think you know that.
Stop hitting on Mark over there
Yeah.
just because you're on the same couch.
We can cut that out, Mark. Don't worry about it.
We could cut that out. That's staying in.
That's staying in.
Yeah.
That's staying in.
But yeah, close us out, Mark.
Well, look, all joking, all fun aside, I appreciate you folks having us here to talk. Nice. We've got your back. Sean O'Brien, Fred Zuckerman, the entire team that they've assembled for the negotiations, for contract negotiations with UPS, they have your back. We've got your back. We're going to get this done. We need you to be engaged. We need you to participate in everything that we ask you to participate in. And we need to kick the doors down.
There you go.
We have a massive responsibility as union leaders, okay? We really, truly have a massive responsibility. Billions of dollars in healthcare and pensions are at stake for our members and their families, right? Job security, which if you don't have good job security in the contract, what's going to happen to your job? Yeah. We've got work to do on job security issues at UPS. They are taking it seriously. They're going to the gates to talk to members, to get the members' feedback directly. They're not going to sit at the bargaining table with UPS and Carol Tomei, the CEO, and speak from a position of hiding in a building.
Yeah.
They're going to speak from experience, and they're going to have the leadership that is there speaking from experience. Do yourself a favor, Teamster members. Be positive and be very energetic and enthusiastic for your union, okay? Anywhere and everywhere you go. And if we have problems amongst ourselves, let's settle it at the dinner table. We don't need to settle it on the internet.
In-house.
Let's settle it at the dinner table and come out fighting, like Sean likes to say, as one united family.
Buckle your chin strap.
Correct. And so we have a major responsibility, I believe wholeheartedly, especially with the young guys that are and gals that are getting involved in our organization to participate in everything that we're doing, that we've got a lot of energy out there. And I haven't come across a single person that thinks it's a negative thing that we want to go and get what the Teamster members deserve in this UPS contract. Correct. And it will impact. You go to anywhere, whether it's UPS or Cisco Foods or Albertsons.
Everyone's watching. Corporate America's watching.
They're all watching, and they're all in these benefit plans. Mm-hmm. They're all in the Western. There's thousands of employers that participate in the Western Conference of Teamsters Pension Trust and all these other Teamster pension trusts across the United States. So we have a massive responsibility to protect what we have, our health care and our pensions, world class, to preserve, right, to strengthen, and to improve, because all about the Teamsters is improving. But do yourself a service as a Teamster member and be positive about the organization. Anybody can have a glass half empty. Anybody can make a complaint about something. Oh, I didn't win my grievance for $100 on an issue, right? Not talking about the 20 things we've done good. Let's talk about what we've done good. And at the dinner table, at our union meetings, at our dinner table in contract negotiations and our union caucuses where we talk amongst ourselves, we'll air our upset, what we're upset about, right?
Yeah.
But we're going to come out unified, and that's what Sean and Fred need. We need this. Absolutely. And it's not for them. It's for the future of all workers.
It's for you.
It's for everybody. It is for everybody, because everything we do is going to spill into everything else we do. It impacts other unions, are impacted by what we do, right? Mm-hmm. So we have a tremendous, unite behind your union, be positive about it. Again, be positive.
Invest in yourself. I always say it.
Yeah. We don't need to hide what we're upset about or we have concerns about, but we just need to do it as part of our organization. And so get behind us. Let's have some fun.
All right.
Go Teamsters, huh?
Go
Teamsters.
That's right. That's right.
Thank you, Mark. We just want to, again, reiterate how appreciative we are for you coming on, for just sharing your knowledge, your wealth of knowledge, and just kind of getting people motivated. You heard it here firsthand, guys. Like I always say, act like you give a shit. It's your contract. It's my contract. Let's get involved. We appreciate you. We appreciate 952 members tuning in. We appreciate all your shares. Please, this isn't just a 952 podcast. This is a Teamster podcast. This is Mark from 162. We appreciate you guys. And if you think I forgot, I didn't. So fuck Savas.
Oh my God.
We appreciate you. Let's close
Is that his
out.
sign out for
Yeah,
you?
that's a sign out. Yeah.
Wow. Good cop, bad cop.
So thank you guys for tuning in. Smash that like button, subscribe, Share, please. I don't care what local you're in. If you're sharing with a Teamster member, there might be somebody who's just curious about union business. Share. We appreciate you guys.
Does happen. And you can email us at ocst.000@gmail.com. Leave whatever you want in there. Could be anything.
I hope you enjoyed the show. Please like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps the channel. Support your local and get involved. Together we can make a difference. Till next time.